I am from India and I often look at our neighbors unhappily. Pakistan on one side, China occupied Tibet on the other. Sri Lanka is unreliable. Nepal is fast turning into a Chinese client state. And Bangladesh, while good in most parts, has a porous border with India. Then I look at Israel, Lebanon, Syria, Egypt, Iran, and the larger Arab world. Israel looks like a piece of cheese between famished mice. Before Donald Trump turned Abraham Accords into a reality, Israel had virtually no friends in the Middle East. It could easily be called a weakness, a shortcoming. But it actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise for the Jewish nation. It learned from the very beginning that if it has to survive, it needs to fight. And Israel doesn't just fight, it routinely conducts preemptive attacks, often with devastating effects on the target. It recently burned and sank Iran's biggest warship, and now it has set a huge Iranian steel plant ablaze. Hi and welcome. This is TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group, and I'm your host, Atul Mishra. In this video, I will tell you about how Israel has again given Iran a telling blow. Let's begin. It's all fire and fury in the Middle East. A possible nuclear deal breakthrough between Iran and the United States is reportedly just around the corner. So Iran is all emboldened. However, Israel is repeatedly spoiling Tehran's party by blasting just about anything it seems to be getting its hands on. Nuclear sites, oil refineries, naval warships, nuclear scientists, and now a steel plant in eastern Iran. Israel seems to be attacking it all. Of course, none of this has been proven yet, owing to the exceptional skills of Israel's secret agency, Mossad. Israel is doing all it can to ensure that the nuclear deal revival negotiations being conducted in Vienna fail. And to that end, it is continuously sabotaging Iran's nuclear program and its critical assets. An explosion and fire were reported at the Zaran Iranian steel company in eastern Iran on Saturday night. The Iranian IRNA news reported that a large explosion occurred during the incident. According to the Jerusalem Post, the Zaran Iranian steel plant is part of Middle East Mines and Mineral Industries Development Holding Company, which was placed under sanctions by the Trump administration earlier this year. At the time, the US Department of Treasury had said that Iranian metal sector is an important revenue source for the Iranian regime, generating wealth for its corrupt leaders and financing a range of nefarious activities, including the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction and the means of delivery, support for foreign terrorist groups, and a variety of human rights abuse at home and abroad. In this context, for a steel plant of Iran to be targeted by Israel only makes sense, as damage to the site will directly affect the Shiite nation's nuclear program, which, if a nuclear deal is revived, will receive a grand propulsion. The kinds of mysterious incidents which have been striking Iran in recent weeks are fascinating, to say the least, and reek of Israeli involvement. Last week, Iran was battered by two huge fires. The first ravaged and then sank a naval warship, the Kharg, which was reportedly the Iranian fleet's largest vessel. The ship sank near the vital Strait of Hormuz on Wednesday after a 20-hour effort to put out the fire. The second fire broke out at a petrochemical factory in southern Tehran on Wednesday, casting a heavy cloud of smoke across the Iranian capital. The sinking of the Kharg is the second time in the past 3 months that an Iranian vessel has suffered serious damage at sea. In early April, an Iranian freighter which supported the Houthi war effort off the coast of Yemen was damaged by mines placed on its hull by Israeli commandos. Prior to this daredevil attack, an attack on the Natanz nuclear facility, where the new and advanced centrifuges installed by Iran started operating just hours before a blackout and electrical fault struck the site, had taken Iran's nuclear program back by at least 9 months. Last year, in a huge setback to Tehran's nuclear program, Mossad reportedly assassinated Iran's chief nuclear scientist, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. Earlier in May, meanwhile, a massive fire broke out in Iran's southwestern city of Bushehr near the Islamic Republic's only functioning nuclear power plant. Iran is being battered with regular attacks. The nuclear deal revival, meanwhile, stands in jeopardy since two Iranian Navy vessels are purportedly about to cross the Atlantic Ocean, thus infuriating the United States and even an otherwise friendly Biden administration. Cyber attacks, fires, electrical faults, and outages, apart from assassinations, are the hallmark of Mossad's action against Iran and its nuclear interests and assets.